at these two. Not a single thought in those heads. Hey everybody, long time no see. I'll get to explaining where I've been as of late, but for the sake of not bogging down the beginning of this video, I'm going to wait to explain all that jazz and then some towards the end of the video. That way, I think it'll help make this video easier to rewatch, should you decide to come back and rewatch this anyway. And just as a heads up, I'm also going to be drowning the end of this video in a shitload of Patreon shoutouts because I am long overdue. I got a lot of catching up to do. But for today, I wanted to keep it familiar, and what's more familiar for this channel than the continuing adventures of this blue asshole? So this is Sonic Dream Team. Gonna be real, seeing the word Sonic and Dream together in the title did sort of activate my fight or flight response, because I remember this shitpost called Sonic Dreams Collection that I was subjected to, and I'm gonna leave it at that. It's dead, it can't hurt me anymore, or you, so we're moving on. But yeah, this was quite the surprise, wasn't it? Like earlier last year, we get the final update for Sonic Frontiers, and then later in the year, we get Sonic Superstars, the new official entry in the franchise, and then out of nowhere in December, we get this Sonic Dream Team released exclusively, for now anyway, on Apple Arcade. I keep forgetting this service even exists, if I'm just being honest there. I legit don't know what this service offers that stores like Steam or Epic already do. I guess if you're really big into mobile gaming, right? I enjoy a good mobile phone game, but not enough to consider a monthly subscription to something, you know? Thankfully, I was able to use my free trial period to get my hands on this. I have no plans of actually getting a subscription to Apple Arcade because I looked at the store page for some time and I didn't see shit in that store page that piqued my interest. Obviously, it's a matter of taste and availability, but to any Apple Arcade aficionados out there, what do you see in this store that I don't? Like, if you are actively subscribed to it, like, what keeps you actively subscribed to it? Well, anyway, so I see this game coming out, and I immediately think, who was working on this one? I figured it wasn't Sonic Team since they were busy cleaning up Frontiers, and I knew Superstars was Arzest. The production values on this didn't look bad. It even had a nifty animated opening where Sonic decks you in the face in the end. You don't understand, guys. He only does it because he loves me. This didn't look like it was made on the cheap, and we'll get into the specifics soon, but at a glance, this seemed like an honest-to-God new entry in Sonic's 3D lineup. The aesthetic rung all sorts of familiar, yeah, and the emphasis on the half-pipe jumping reminded me a little too much of Sonic Lost World's parkour system. But there was something about the game that elicited a feeling of a long-lost Sonic game from the GameCube era. So, it turns out this was the work of Hardlight, a subsidiary of Sega based in the UK. Just to quickly get you guys up to speed in case you didn't know, these folks have been responsible for Sonic's mobile outings over the last decade. I'm talking Sonic Jump, Sonic Dash, Sonic Forces Speed Battle, probably the best thing to be associated with Forces looking back, and I never played this, but I am constantly bewildered by how many alternate costumes I see this game get on its social media account. And I'm not kidding, folks, look it up, there's so many damn variants, like this might as well be a fucking gacha game. Is that what this game is? Is it just Sonic Dash with gacha elements? There's even some IDW characters in this, like Whisper, Tangle, and Surge. I can only hope this means Sega actually has plans for these characters in future titles. I'd love to play as the character that in one issue almost electrocuted Sonic to death. She got his heart to stop beating for a brief period. That was metal as shit. Oh yes, we stand Surge in these parts. I love this character. Now, I can't speak for Hardlight's other endeavors, but I did play quite a bit of Sonic Dash back in the day, and I said before, but I thought this game was fine. A nice little distraction you play while traveling, or while you're on the shitter. And if Sega is insistent on having these guys make these mobile games time and time again, I can only assume they're not only consistent, but competent. So maybe the play here was, let's give these guys a larger budget, no doubt thanks to the Apple exclusivity, and see what they can do. I decided to whip out the iMac for this just as a heads up. I know this game was probably made primarily for mobile devices. I mean, the user interface screams touchscreen, even with a controller, and that's just the thing. I didn't want to play this game with a touchscreen, nor did I want to play it on a small screen, because I know some of you are probably wondering, well, just pair a Bluetooth controller with your iPhone or iPad and you're golden. And I get that, but if I'm playing a 3D Sonic game, I gotta have it on a monitor larger than a Game Boy Micro, you feel me? So that said, I don't know how Sonic Dream Team controls with touchscreen controls and all that. I got my preferences, so I'm going to review the game based on those preferences. And there's not much of a story here, but I will be talking about the game wholesale, so spoiler warning if you're at all interested. If you got an iPhone or Mac on standby, get yourself a free trial on Apple Arcade, give the game a shot for yourself, see how it works out for you. Although, I don't think this game is going to remain an Apple Arcade exclusive for long if games like, Shantae and the Seven Sirens ain't to go by. But, okay, how about we talk about Sonic Dream Team? In his latest endeavor to be an absolute shit, Dr. Eggman is looking to harness the power of the Reverie, a device that's said to help people's dreams come true. But it'll only grant the wishes of those with a pure heart, so Dr. Eggman, realizing he's horribly underqualified, kidnaps Cream the Rabbit with the intent of using her dreams as a conduit to gain control of the Reverie for himself. I also like to think that Eggman knew who the biggest threat in the Sonic universe was and wanted to immediately nip that shit in the bud. But Eggman hits a snag in the form of REM, the guardian of the Reverie that manages to trap Eggman inside his dreams to keep him confined for the time being, giving Sonic and company enough time to locate his hidden base, take a snooze, and head inside the dreamscape themselves to rescue Cream and stop Eggman from accessing the Reverie. I'm also going to assume Vanilla was dreaming in the middle of all this because no fucking way in hell she wouldn't be involved in this if she found out her daughter was kidnapped. Read the IDW comics. Don't fuck around and find out with Vanilla. Though Sonic finds himself separated at first, REM informs the Hedgehog that if he and the others manage to collect enough of these dream orbs, she could eventually find a means to reunite everyone, rescue Cream, and gain access to the Dream Core so that Sonic and company can escape the Reverie. But they'll have to deal with Eggman's contraptions in the meantime, so Sonic and friends have their work cut out for them. Thankfully, the extent of Eggman's powers in his dreamscape only amounts to creating a surplus of familiar badniks and obstacles that are quite the norm for Sonic games. Seriously, this is business as usual if you played any other Sonic game beforehand. For a scientist with an over 300 IQ, Eggman's imagination in this game is surprisingly lacking. I guess I should be grateful. This could have been a hell of a lot worse if Eggman ended up being like the Freddy Krueger of this game, like getting really dark and sinister with what the possibilities of dream manipulation and stuff like that. And I talked about it before in the PS2 video, Freddy's the kind of dude that has a tongue that sounds like it shoots laser beams. But that is the main gist of the plot. From this point on, it's a matter of collecting the dream orbs and unlocking more stages, rescuing your friends along the way, and dealing with Eggman's goons. Actually, I should probably start calling enemies something other than goons, because the word goon is too close to the word gooning, and if you don't know what that means, then, well, let's just say I'm glad Sonic Dream Teams doesn't handle the topic of wet dreams. I'm so sorry. Eventually, Sonic and the gang reach the Dream Core, only to get interrupted by Nightmare Eggman, and I shit you not, guys, for a second, I thought Eggman was rocking that Super Saiyan bod I've seen in too many shitposts, but the real superpower of teamwork ensures that REM is reunited with the Dream Core lickety-split, and Eggman's plans are kaput. Everyone wakes up from the dream and laugh it all off, but it's kind of fucked that they keep Eggman in a coma until whenever it is he wakes up, but guess it's still better than being shot by a firing squad. I'm really hoping that third movie just fucking kills an old man. I wasn't expecting much from this game's story, and overall it really is nothing special, but it still manages to have some charm, I found. The characterization of everyone feels on point. I was surprised how much I ended up liking Knuckles in this, and I liked how the game spent just a bit of time showing him relating to REM's plight of being a guardian of something she holds sacred. In a larger game, I would have liked to see these two, do something more together. It also helps that the voice acting for Sonic and Company is damn solid, and that's because we got a lot of returning voice actors here who played these characters for years. Roger Craig Smith, Mike Pollock, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Cindy Robinson, etc., etc. They're all good. I think Michelle Ruff's Cream was a little too squeaky at times. I get that she's supposed to be playing a 6-year-old, but sometimes it got a little too high-pitched for me. But, whatever. I can't fucking voice Cream the Rabbit. Everyone also makes some goofy-ass noises in this game, though. The voice direction everywhere else felt very natural, though. I don't think anyone really overperforms here and isn't as melancholic like in Frontiers if you didn't like that shit, even if I do think that was the point of that game's acting. The story cutscenes, though, I wish they looked more than glorified animatics. I get that they probably didn't want to go too hard on the mobile game if that was the idea, but I think back to games like Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops or Peace Walker, how those games animated their cutscenes. I would have preferred something a little more like that, something dynamic, something with more visual flair. At the same time, though, the story cutscenes are pretty static, right? But check out the in-game cutscenes you get on occasion. This is some of the best animations since, I want to say, Sonic Boom. Some of you might be saying to me, what about Sonic Prime? And I'm like, what about Sonic Prime? It's way better than whatever Sonic Team's been doing the last 10 years, that's for sure. It's just bit moments, I'm aware, but everyone's so full of personality and squash and stretch, they look so good in motion. If there's one thing I think Sonic Team can take notes from other devs, it's the animation quality. For God's sake, this is something even Big Red Button and Sanzaru Games did better, and those games are, you know what they are. And I'm not saying Sonic Team hasn't done it before, but the last few games had some pretty stiff character animations outside of FMV stuff. Generations, Lost World, Forces, Frontiers. The Frontiers was a little better about it, but the last time I felt they really tried was in Sonic Unleashed, and I don't want to alarm anyone here, but that game came out close to 16 years ago.
Fuck. Oh.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, it's my back.
Huh. Well, anyway, do you know Twilight Princess is going to be 20 in 2
Fucking
years?
stop!
Unfortunately, I can't tell you much about the music. I don't want to be too hard on this, but a lot of stage themes sounded like generic menu music that could have come from any game. And I did go back to listen to the OST after I finished the game just to make sure, but even then, most of them weren't very memorable. The only exceptions to me were the tunes that played whenever you went shard collecting, because they played these super relaxing lo-fi beats, which not only sounded great on their own, but I thought they complemented the dreamlike nature of the game's setup. I have no doubt that if I played these stages 36 hours in without sleep, these tunes will help me catch some sleep, but too bad for them, I already have weed. But let's get into the game, and I was really curious about this because the trailer's up front with it. We got 6 playable characters in this bitch. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, and Cream. Yeah, Cream doesn't remain kidnapped for long in this. She joins the party not too long in, but don't expect her to be her godlike Sonic Advance 2 counterpart. She's basically a reskin of Tails. That's how it works in this game. There's 6 playable characters, but in actuality, there's only 3 playstyles, like in Sonic Heroes, to compare it to something. So the only difference between Sonic and Amy, for example, is that Sonic's a boy, Amy's a girl. The foundation of the game could be considered a simplified version of the standard boost gameplay and everything that entails. Your main goal is to collect enough of these dream orbs to unlock other stages until you reach the end, but getting these things is a little more thorough than just running in a straight line. And at first, I thought this game was going to be bloated as shit getting these things. So there's 4 zones total, 3 acts apiece with a dedicated boss zone afterwards. Each act, however, has at least 5 separate missions, and ooh, fuck, I feel like I got ambushed. Like, ooh, this is going to take a bit, isn't it? No, not at all. A lot of missions here are bite-sized, easily finished within a minute or 2, sometimes not even that. The first mission in every act is usually an exploration level. If you want, you can just find 3 keys needed to progress to the end, and the game tells you exactly where the keys are, so I feel this isn't really the point of the level because of that. There's no challenge in this. But you can also take your time, see the sights. Every world is designed like a skate park where you can't do many tricks, granted, but the level design is still plenty sizable, so it's not just a linear tunnel. Collect the 5 red rings in the level and you'll score an extra dream orb for your collection. Probably use it to bypass another mission you don't want to do, but knowing you, you're gonna get all those dream orbs anyway, so who's the real loser in the end?
The answer's me.
At least these aren't terribly difficult to find, and there's only 5 in the act, unlike the 30 pieces of... Not Sonic the Hedgehog capitalizing on my trauma, and there's 30 of these things too? Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing, the fucking assholes. Well, the blue coins aren't in for progression, thankfully. You don't get dream orbs for these. You just collect 30 in the mission, and you get a collectible figure for your collection.
Oh, thank God. That just made these a hell of a lot easier to ignore.
I'm not really into trophy collecting in these games. Smash Brothers for sure. In fact, I'm hoping that's something they bring back in the next one. But collecting a figure as a reward in a platformer doesn't quite hit the same, so I didn't bother. Also, fuck 100% in Mario Sunshine.
Fuck you!
The exploration missions are as broad as the game gets. Every other mission is either something like a time trial where you can just try to get to the end as fast as possible, really emphasizes how short some of these acts can be when you just say nuts to the exploration element. There's a few character-specific missions, which doesn't mean much. It's usually just a tutorial to get you acquainted with a new character's abilities. The most baffling one to me is the shard collecting missions. So think the emerald hunting stages in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but you know exactly where the shards are at all times. See? The HUD just tells you where to go. What's the challenge here? I guess figuring out a route to collect them all fast enough for the leaderboards that nobody really cares about. Look, I got my issues with the emerald hunting stages from yesteryear, but at least they, required that you went actual hunting. This just feels like padding, even if the music is relaxing. The boss acts are also nothing remarkable. Just wait for the opening and homing attack when appropriate. I love that the crab has an Eggman mustache, and I thought this was going to be a running theme too. Every boss having an Eggman mustache. It's a dream world, whatever. The crab gets one, these minion dudes combine into an Eggman robot complete with stash, but then this asshole shows up in the 3rd zone and just shits all over the gag. Not a bad design though. This dude would be a final boss in any other game, but I gotta tip my cap to the minion guys because they gave me a bigger scare than this guy ever would. I'm watching the intro to their battle and I'm just sitting there waiting for the cutscene to finish, but it never does. The camera doesn't reset. I can't move my character, but the boss starts anyway, and the moment it touched me, the game just hard crashed, and that kind of scared the shit out of me. That's something you see in creepypastas, goddammit, and it was 2:24 in the morning too in a dark room too. Jesus. Every character has something a little extra to them. Sonic and Amy get this nifty air dash, letting you travel just enough extra distance to get those long jumps across. They also get the light speed dash, which I like and kind of don't like how it's implemented in this game, but that's more of a muscle memory thing for me because in this game you initiate a light speed dash by using the air dash on the trail. It's super easy to pull off and probably the most consistent the light speed dash has ever been, at least in terms of functionality, but I played so many games before where it's mapped to its own button that I struggled a bit adapting to the new method.
Fuck me, man. Even when they simplify something for ease of use, I still stumble around like a goddamn idiot.
Tails and Cream can fly for a bit before getting tired, but if you fly through these mid-air rings, you can recharge your stamina and maintain flight. They ended up being my main exploration characters when I wasn't so much thinking about reaching the end, but rather
Where in God's name is this damn red ring? It's a small thing, but nothing gets under my skin more than seeing I collected a red ring out of order. Although I also found Knuckles and Rouge to be great in this department too, which I guess is appropriate for the treasure hunters, huh? Knuckles and Rouge, tail as old as time, they can glide in the air and climb certain walls. You can't climb every wall, sadly, but then I think back to the past and think, maybe Hardlight was showing mercy in that way. Be careful with the glide though, after just a couple of seconds you'll start dropping like a rock about as fast as you did in oh, I guess Hardlight wasn't showing mercy after all, goddamn. The best part about all of this though, once you unlock them, and if the stage allows it because some missions hard lock you to one playstyle for the sake of the given challenge, any other time, you can freely switch between any character you want. You want to keep the speed going and wrap things up fast? Stick with Sonic or Amy. You got collectibles out of reach and you don't feel like putting effort into anything anymore? I get it, I've been there. Switch to Tails, Cream, Knuckles, or Rouge is completely free, only costing a couple of seconds to make the switch. I love this feature. Giving me the freedom to play as who I want when I can, it's the best thing about the exploration levels because nothing's out of reach, and that feels good.
But man, could you imagine for a second this Sonic Frontiers-esque adventure where you can freely switch between different characters with different means of exploration on the fly? Now, I know the last Frontiers update came close to that, but I'm talking about having that sense of freedom like from the very beginning. I'm pitching a tent just thinking about it. And if my young cousins are watching this video, stop it.
The game manages to keep the speed constant, but it also doesn't compromise basic control when you want to slow things down. I felt the ground controls were perfectly fine, even when you're not boosting. Not as weighted as the adventure games, but not as rigid as in Sonic Unleashed or Generations. Everyone can also boost and do the homing attack, and if there's one thing I really want to compliment Dream Team for is keeping this impeccable sense of flow constant throughout the game. No matter what character you're using, no matter what kind of mission you're doing, and there's a lot of missions in this game, maintaining high speed from a boost into grind rails, homing attack chains, light speed dashes, you name it, this game is great in keeping you moving without it feeling too automated, which has always been a hiccup in Sonic games, especially in the 3D space and especially in the boost era, you know. In other games, the sense of speed you achieve might as well be a glorified cutscene requiring little player input. Or it could be the inverse and requires super precise input, which I don't think a lot of casual players could reasonably do. It didn't feel good and you wanted to play something else. Sure, this game still does take control away at points to highlight the spectacle, but it's never enough to be handholdy or intrusive. I did not hate my time at all in this game. It helps that it isn't terribly long either. My runtime was about 3.5 hours total. I think the mission structure bite-sized or no would have worn out its welcome if it were any longer. What also didn't help was that despite there only being 4 zones, I didn't think they were that radically different from each other outside of one defining gimmick and an aesthetical change. Not to dismiss the graphics outright though, this game looks perfectly fine. I think the stage themes are cool. Scrambled Shores is the bright and colorful opening world I expect a Sonic game to have. Bonus points for just not being a Green Hill clone. Not that I hate Green Hill or anything, it's just not every first level needs to be Green Hill, you know? Yeah, more games could totally use worlds that look straight out of Fall Guys. Dream Factory is very orange. I have no idea what this shit's even supposed to be, but Eggman's making a lot of it. Okay, you know what? Actually, it's piss. That's what it has to be, right? Yeah, you ever had those moments where you're about to go to sleep, but you're feeling parched, so you have a glass of water, and you try and lay down, and now you suddenly can't sleep because you gotta go to the fucking bathroom, and now you can't go back to sleep because you got up to go to the bathroom. Fuck you, Dream Factory. Nightmare Maze was my favorite of the 4 because it likes to play around with the camera angles to offer different kinds of challenges. I liked it when it went top down because it felt like I was playing a Zelda game on speed. They mess with the gravity on occasion too, like in Mario Galaxy. Now you might be thinking, well, wouldn't Sonic Lost World be a more apt comparison? And you're right, but Mario Galaxy is a better game. Ego City is just Eggman jerking himself off, but for a final zone, they could have done a lot worse. It's Eggman Land for Weenie Hut Jr. patrons. Nothing really fancy here. It does have some of the most pure platforming aspects of the game, so veterans will probably like this zone the most. They also brought back the Eggman PA announcements. There's not too much of them, but I'm always down for hearing more of these.
Speed limit is a strict 5 miles per hour. Absolutely no going fast allowed.
I mean, not for nothing, 5 miles an hour ain't exactly a comfortable jog either, Eggman. Like, I can't do that shit.
This was a surprisingly good time. I don't think it'll rock your socks off, but if you're itching for some fast, if safe Sonic action, and just so happen to have an Apple Arcade subscription, I think you're gonna like this one. That said, to mention again, I don't think this game's staying on Apple Arcade for long. Sega's known for making some boneheaded decisions, I get that, but they'd be fucking fools if they didn't give Sonic Dream Team proper console releases. Shit, the game would make Sega a killing on Switch sales alone. I think a game like this would be perfect for the Switch. If that ends up happening, I'd like to see a few tweaks, as unlikely as it would be. I'd love the interface to not be so mobile phone centric. I like my heads-up display to be a little more stylized, you know? Some new music wouldn't hurt either, but I'm not expecting that to change. And I also like to see the animatic scenes get properly, animate it, or at least rock a style that's different than just using the in-game models. That intro when the game starts up is wonderful. I think the in-game stills should rock a similar style. But yeah, Sonic Dream Team is a keeper, and I'm happy to experience it. Kudos to Sega Hardlight for keeping it good. I hope they continue getting bigger projects like this, because this game shows me, with enough time and money, these guys can make a damn good 3D Sonic game. In fact, I'm going to file this under, John, you're out of your goddamn mind, but considering that Sonic Team is working towards a new future for Sonic in a post-Frontiers landscape, if they still have any inclinations of remaking older games, I'm talking Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Heroes, and the like, let Hardlight take the helm. The foundation, the blueprints, they're already there. I think the folks at Hardlight are more than capable of getting it done. God, come on, man. Could you imagine a Sonic Adventure remake with cutscenes that were as expressive as what we got in Dream Team? That shit is delicious thinking about. Probably won't happen, but I love to see it happen. Let a man dream.
All right, so it's improv time, and I'm just going to be winging it as much as I can. For added context, it's close to 5 in the morning, and I'm also just recovering from a head cold that I think I caught when I was visiting Washington, D.C. some time ago for the Sonic Symphony over at Warner Theater, which was a fantastic time, by the way. Like, if there's a show happening around the area, it has my deepest recommendations because it was such a blast. It was so fun hearing wonderful compositions and what was essentially a rock concert by the second half of the show. And it was such a good time with friends and family. I'm happy to have went, so I recommend that you do the same. But anyway, where have I been? Well, after I posted the Sonic Superstars video, this was, I think it was like the second week of November, I had what you, I don't know, may classify as a mental breakdown, nervous breakdown. Either way, I became borderline catatonic for like a good 24 hours because it was just shit building over for a couple of months, just, making sure videos were done on time for sponsor deadlines and meeting expectations that I set for myself. And I bit off more than I could chew, and it cost me a lot of fucking mental points because I shut down. And I didn't know what to do, to the point where I started worrying some family members, Nora especially, and I felt so shitty afterwards that I just, you know what, I gotta step back for a second, I gotta get away, because I hate feeling like this. I hate what it's doing to others around me, so I had to step away for a second. When I got in contact with the network manager, I told him, hey, cancel all the sponsors for the rest of the year, because I think I had 3 left for the year. And it's because I'm tired of worrying about this right now. I need to get away, please. I need to get away. And so I did. I stopped. And I basically just been taking an impromptu mini vacation for myself. Well, not entirely, because I'm still active on the sub Discord that patrons have access to, and Twitch subscribers for that matter too. Like in terms of Twitch streams, I'm still doing those because those require little to no effort, and my friends, let's be real, carrying those streams anyway. But in terms of just video creations, it was at a point where I wanted to stop doing it, because at that current moment, it just wasn't fun. And I never wanted to ever get that way, because my position in life here, I'm very privileged to be able to make a living off of doing this, reviewing games, making videos for you guys that you guys come to and you watch, react, go to sleep to, that sort of thing. And I'm very happy for that. But the way I got towards the middle of November was shit, man. What am I doing? Why do I feel this way? How did it get like this? And I just said, fuck this, dude. So I gotta stop. I gotta stop for a second. I gotta step back. And this is something I'm gonna tell any up and coming content creator who watches this channel or anything like that. If you're looking to make a living out of this, if you're looking to build a base out of this, please know your limits. Take breaks. Don't feel like you got a chip on your shoulder and feel like you gotta prove yourself to the world. Because if you end up killing yourself as a result of it, what does it matter? You gotta take care of yourself first and foremost before you can put yourself out there. And if you're suffering, your fans are suffering, your family's suffering. And overall, it's just not a good thing for anybody. So first and foremost, before any of this, make sure you're taking care of yourself before any of that matters. You know what I mean? Because I lost sight of that. I lost track of that towards that, and I paid the price, because
man, like I mean, like I've had my down moments doing this stuff, right? But what I experienced a couple of months ago was the worst I've ever felt. And I don't want to feel that way again. I want to be able to make videos not having to feel so pressured into like meeting expectations or sponsor deadlines or anything like that. And I don't totally regret doing that kind of stuff, especially like in regards to sponsors, because that's good money. You know, I do it because it's good money. And I'm in this line of work, not just to make videos for you guys to enjoy, but to, you know, also pay the bills. It's always been like that for me. So it's just that I lost sight of the balance that is needed to keep it healthy. And starting this year and beyond, because again, I don't want to ever get that bad, I'm going to try and be a lot better about that. But you know, saying it is one thing, actually doing it is another thing. So we will definitely wait and see about that. In regards to other videos that I had planned, like what's the ideas? Like, am I going to continue what I left off? And the answer to that is yes, but I'm also going to be making some changes to the schedule. Like, I'm still going to commit to the Mortal Kombat stuff and the Doom 2016 and Eternal follow-up. But afterwards, I think I'm going to just immediately jump into the Final Fantasy stuff. I was originally going to review Mario Wonder, but then after a while, even after I recorded the footage, I really wanted to lump that in with like a new Super Mario Bros. Retrospective. I have my reasons for that, which I'll get into later. But right now, I really want to get back into Final Fantasy because I've been wanting to do that for a long time. You know, kind of start with 8, 9, 10, and beyond. And like those are the videos I really, really want to make. But I want to also fulfill some promised obligations first, and I want to go like look into some more Mortal Kombat games. I love Mortal Kombat, I do. It's just I want to, you know, I don't want to leave you guys hanging too much on that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what you guys can look forward to within the next couple of weeks. And then hopefully by like the beginning of the spring, everything will be relatively back to normal. And if not here, then over on my Twitch page, I do Twitch streams like on weekends. Over on SGB, Super Game Bros, we're doing Let's Plays and all that sort of thing. And those are, I never stop doing those because it's much easier to make content when you're surrounded by friends and family. But either way, if you've been hanging by to this channel, if you're still here, even after I took that impromptu break, thank you so much. I'm sorry, first off, more than for making you wait, and for going silent there for a second. It's just, man, like when you can't be bothered, you can't be bothered, and that's not exactly the right thing to do. That was pretty irresponsible of me, but sometimes when I shut down, I shut the fuck down, and I don't want to be bothered by anybody, anything, that sort of thing. But you know, that's not right, and for that I apologize. But if you're still here, thank you. I don't deserve any of you. At least I don't think so. Anyway, you be the judge. But thank you for stopping by anyway, and for keeping me company, and for watching the channel. Like, I do greatly appreciate that. And well, there's plenty of more life in me, and there's plenty of more things to look out there. So, without further ado, well, I'm not going to send off yet because I have to fulfill more Patreon shoutouts, and because I'm a little behind, buckle down because I got a lot of names to read here. So if you want to leave here, go right ahead. YouTube's not going to like that, but whatever. There's something I want to do, and I'm going to do it. All right, so once again, shout out to more of my $10 patrons, starting from the top here: Heckla Games, Christian R, Yoon Male, Colin Kanat, Nicholas Scott, Fexmo, Yuma Crafter, Elijah Aldrich, Resin Ace, Yui May, Sun Gohan, the Sun Gohan, what are you doing watching loser like me? Timur Ahmad, was it Timur Ahmad? Jack is Back, Alex DBZ Movies, Hellfire Revenant, Aiden Smith, Spacious Wheat, Neolab, LOLY, Ryuga Kiryu, EIP, RH Taker 20, Schmitty, Czar Super Crazy, The Maniton, True Mexican, Cobalt Dragon, Arcanist 729, P. Cody Matt, Mary Fairy Quite Contrary, Kaz Zoratunic, Landon LRB, Engine and Tonic, Brandon W93, Dr. Tex, Jay Foley, Milk Babe, It's Yos, Prowler, Portal Guy, Healing Wind 1997, Caitlin, Raptor Wrangler,
Lars Russell, 8-Bit Bio, Dia422, Anonymous Gamer, 8-Bit Guy, Cala, Victory Star 527, Jerome Waters, Slant 16 Gamer, Jorge Azura, James Martin Owens, John Rutherford, Shade Enigma, Flame Solus, Doki Thug, Mario Fanboy 15, Brandon Itoraldi, Small Movie World, Super Bro 64, ADD Monkey 55, Richie Inkwell. The battery's low. The battery just died. Battery switch. All right, we're back. We're back. Hey, Richie Inkwell, JD Matrone, Jordan Prignon, Nasenda 20G, Lurik, Ellens 33025, I think it's a zip code. Julian Reviews, Crimson Eye 64, Shadow Nexa, Martini, Joel Tuico, Heather McKnight, Pablo Vallejo, Sinormi K, Little Drawing Boy, Reggie Reg, Mr. Zarzis, Shadows in Scarlet, Virtual Man, Big Red MC 716, Toaster Jason, Uncle Azul, Orange Bull, HR Theater, Joe Schremer, Xeno XX Reborn, Jack's brother, what happened to Jack? Neo Cosmopolitan, Dan Steinbeck, GNXG, Sonic Speeder, Benny, The Panda Herman, Axel Port, Lime, Sync Weaver, Lucifer's My Bitch, Adam Christians, Albert, Logan the Kid, Brandon Christensen, Roy's Our Boy, Dapper Burger, RFGF, Gailume Cardinal, Nil Sujata, Dark Coronora, Shanyet East, Temporary Meme, Mark Ferguson, Justin Colin Velez, Pancake 13, or is it Pancake the 13th? Wing Dingus, The Muffin Man, Hyper Legend Ultra, Chase Auclair, The Sundown Kid, Flamer, EDM, Admiral Octopus, Orpheus, Lone Otaku, Sunkiss Waves, For I Am Burdened with Glorious Beard, Zishin Azari, Jonathan C., Jaime Lopez Gutierrez, I fucked that up. Sharper Whisper 9, Marquise, Ryan Ricciarelli, Echidna Dylan, Metal Tremin, Jackie Pendrag. This must be what teachers feel like when they're doing a roll call and they can't say most of these names for shit. Spooky, teachers need to be paid more for the record. Spooky Pandas, Nick the Nocturne, the role-playing gamer, Nova the artist, Keldeo 60C, Arson, John Alfaro, Johnny Ori Craig, Marcis Edwards, Unoriginal Uno, Ghost Mon, Connie Tenosian, Inkman Nico, Gel P, yeah, I think it's Gel P, Jagmaster 0527, Otaku de Carnitas, Dialga 236, Death the Kid, Guacamole, William, that's so mundane compared to everybody else. I'm not making fun of you though, William. Darius Sterling, Fool's Arcana, Jack Bailey, Matthias Felicio, Nason Villanueva, Joey B, Faceman, Dote Fuller, Victor McKnight, hey Victor, Vred Torres, Fatalk 123 Gaming, Cappy Dragon 2001, Skylixer, Midori Smith, Terra Makes, Cameron Hill, Pixelator Gadzi, Ninezilla 2, Jesus Mancio, or is it Jesus Mancio, Adam Tompkins, Fusionator 1400, That Gamer Caleb, EMC Men, Everboy, ET83 Tater, TK the Ink Boy, Q. Was it Annul 1997, Woodland Buckle, Timon Callisto, Padunku, Chato Talks, Mr. Roche, Giovanni Powell, Seamus McAaron, Speedgenator, Darren Young, The Loyal Paladin, F-Man, Jeremiah Delig, Zygon, Apod 91, Pixel Addy Caddy, Damon Montoya, Maxi 2021, Alex Nancy, J Ruff 08000, Sammy DeBull, Orcasia, Ratchet Bomber, Jonah Hankins, John vs. World, Sonic Mania 2099, Tyler Wilson, Khaled Al Samari, Loyal ZX, The Gag Reflex, Harry Plus 2, Bear for the Moon, Wilfred Summers, 21 First Century. I think we're good for now. I'm going to end it with 21st Century Guy, Chris Vello, Jalsal 95, Real Sethery, Jeremy Rendinger, and Lorak. Oh, and there's one more. I am the Big Rick. Thanks for your generous support, and I'll get some more Patreon shouts at the end of the next video. And don't worry, I'm not going to be having you guys wait as long next time. This I promise. This I swear. And as always, thank you all for watching. Stay safe out there. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.